But Professor Internet, all the communities around me suck. I don't want to join my local choir or play chess with boomers. Okay, fine. Listen up. Fix your posture and take notes. Also, it's liberal cuck Professor Dr. Internet. Okay, thank you very much. A successful community rests on 3 pillars. We've all heard of the Holy Trinity: people, planet, profit. At least that is if you've done your BA, which I assume you have, because this is a master's program. Now, I raise you people, place, piety, or piety. I actually don't know how to pronounce this. But let's backtrack first a little bit. What is community? Community is only wearing blue. Community is not one-on-one relationships. These relationships are also highly valuable, very meaningful, but that is not what we will be focusing on today. Being part of a community is something very different than knowing people or having friends. Community is a social unit, a group of living things with shared socially significant characteristics such as location, set of norms, culture, religion, values, customs, or identity. Community is having a complete network to rely on instead of individual people. Community is making culture together. It is shaping the world in your image with the help of others. Community is knowing you have a place in the world and feeling fulfillment because of it. It is a way to create meaning and ward off loneliness. Loneliness is most prevalent during late adolescence and early adulthood, ages 16 to 24. Worldwide, nearly twice as many adolescents in 2018 compared to 2012 had elevated levels of loneliness. And of course, we know that loneliness increases the risk for or amplifies the experiences of serious mental health problems. So, what to do about this? Community, I already told you. Young adulthood is for expanding social circles, although it is never too late to expand your social circles, of course. However, older adults tend to narrow their attention on fewer important relationships. So you can always narrow down later. Right now is the time to explore, baby. Go on an adventure. So first we will be going through the theory or the formula for a successful community. And then we will be looking at some examples. People. You need people. Without people, there is no community. And you want these people to be a network, independent of you or any other person. You want people to be connecting and chatting all over the place, like a network. Networks are sturdy. When one node falls out, the whole thing doesn't collapse. Now, I do suggest having some sort of filter for the people you allow into your group, but what kind of filter this is entirely up to you. I do have some suggestions of what not to write people off on. For example, political stance. We welcome red, blue, and everything in between and beyond. I'm saying put the anarchist and the national socialist in an art class together and see what happens. One-time mistakes. This, of course, depends on the situation, and you can use your own judgment here. But we all make mistakes. Don't immediately write someone off because they did something stupid. Address the issue, correct the behavior. Second similar strike, you're out though. And obviously things like race, religion, age, disabilities, sexual orientation, things like that. I think we are ready to grow beyond things like that as a species now, right? Now it is important to remember that all groups go through stages of peace and stages of turbulence. And you do not need to immediately give up on people just because you disagree with them. The next thing you need is a place. Now, it is important that access to this place is not dependent on one person. So ideally, this is not someone's house. This could be a so-called third place. It can also be a second place, a place where people go to work. But I do recommend also having community outside of your work. Just have some diversity. Having some sort of activity in common is a very good way to build strong connections. Now, your place should be equipped for this activity. So this can be a shared office space, or your stamkroeg, or a nice spot in the park. Or if you and your friends want to do parkour, have one good spot you can always meet up. Or build a little training area on the outskirts of town somewhere. Think of things you can contribute to the place. What would make it more chill or practical What does it need? Now, the last ingredients for our successful community is piety. Have devotion. With piety, I mean something more like regularity and showing up, but I needed a word with a P. So if you have a better word for this, let me know. If you want to maintain community, you need to run into the same people on a somewhat regular basis. This can be done by showing up on the same day and the same time to the place. This way you will naturally run into the same people, or you can achieve this by setting recurring meetings. Devotion also means showing up for your community. Help others without expecting anything in return. Of course, you will get something in return, but do it without the expectation of it. Help out practically, or if you're more theoretically inclined, what can you do to help improve the conditions of the game you're playing? As mentioned before, having some sort of goal or common interest is a very good way to build strong community, so stay devoted to the goal. Now, once you have a place and a network, the people within the community can fluctuate over time. It should not be a rigid thing. Some people join, some people leave. Maybe you even start doing totally different activities than you did in the beginning. Or you end up in a different place. The community is an organism that can grow and reshape. Now we will be going into some examples. Okay, what do we love? Climbing. Now, I know I've talked about climbing before, but it is a beautiful traditional example of a community. You all have one clear activity in common. You have a place to meet, the local climbing gym or the local crag, and it is very easy to be devoted to the sport. It can take over your whole life. Most devoted people go to the gym about 3 to 6 times a week, so it's very easy to run into the same people over and over again. Another cookie cutter example is effective altruism. It is a global organization, more active in certain parts of the world than others. So if you're lucky, you can have a very big EA community in your area. It has gained publicity since our buddy boy Sam over here, so there's definitely a lot of people. I meet up with some of them every week at a bar. Same place, on the same day, same time, every week. That's regularity, that's devotion. Our last example we will be going through today is my girl group. I've known these girls for a very long time, but sort of recently we became closer as a community because one of my friends got a big place for herself, and now we always have a set place to meet up. We also decided to do one activity together at least once a month. So this sort of regularity requires a little bit more planning. It is a more active process. So you see there's active and passive forms of piety. So what makes or breaks a successful community are these 3 factors. And if you want to build your own with people you like, these are the things to keep an eye on. Now there is one other thing, something that acts as a sort of glue around these 3 pillars, and that is the values the group holds. Yes, I just expanded my model because I'm a scientist and I can do that. Screw you. Now, the values the group has is entirely up to the people in the group. I cannot tell you what to do. However, I can make some suggestions that I think will benefit everybody. Respect. Respect for people inside and outside the community. Respect people's personhood. Treat them like a human being, basically. Don't go around hating on other people. When people flock together, something that tends to happen is tribalization, an us against them mentality. So avoid that. And you can avoid this through openness. Stay open to other ideas, other opinions, other worldviews. Stay open to people and experiences, and entertain the possibility that someone else might be right. Be a community that binds, not a community that bullies. Conviviality. It is the quality of being friendly and making people feel happy and welcome. It is a sort of cheerful friendliness, and I think the world can use a little bit more of that. Alright, thank you so much for your attention. The next lecture will be on why identity play among Zoomers is actually based. This material will be on the test. Class dismissed. Now, my dear students, if you are still here, you're eligible to apply for extra credit by staying connected, staying offline, and staying pretty.